Swedish meatballs, like the ones you get in Ikea, super quick, super easy, super tasty, but it's the combination of the meatballs and the sauce that make this such a showstopper. So let's cook. Right, so just like with your flat pack furniture, we're going to check that they've sent us all the ingredients to start with, because there's nothing worse than missing something. You're going to need two types of meat, beef and pork, for that classic meatball flavour. You're going to combine that with some onions and garlic, obviously, and some ground white pepper, crucially important. We're then going to make them super, super soft with bread and double cream. That is a little trick, okay? And then we're going to be making that amazing sauce. You're going to want some butter spread, whatever you've got. We're going to want some flour, the rest of your double cream, some stock, essentially some sort of liquid. The more flavour it's got, the better. I'm using some beef stock there. And we've got some mustard, and English mustard, that is, and we've got some soy sauce, to pack those flavour bombs. So let's get cracking here. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to prepare the breadcrumbs. So just blitz them up, however you want to do that. Then stick it in a bowl and cover it in some double cream. This is going to be something that's going to make your meatballs really, really soft, okay? It's a little insider trick. So then you're going to throw in your onions and your garlic. You want to blitz these up to, a fine chop, because they're just going to go through the meatballs. You don't want them to be chunky. You don't want to see chunks of onion. You just want them to be one with the meat. So that'll be there or thereabouts. So we're going to combine it all now, okay? So as I said, I'm seasoning it with ground white pepper. My personal preference is when you've got a bit of pork, white pepper just works really, really, really well. So that's what I've gone for. We'll then throw in this mixture. These soaked breadcrumbs will go in. Doesn't matter if it's a bit clumpy, because we're going to go through it and get all mucky in a minute. One egg. So one egg goes in there, and then it is time to get mucky. Okay, so the hands go in, and you just got to squeeze through, push everything through those breadcrumbs, those onions, the flavour and the egg. It takes a couple of minutes. You'll end up with, something that looks something like this. Okay. And then you've got to go through the process of making the meatballs one by one. So make sure that they're quite small. The Swedish meatballs, they're always quite small. You could go even smaller than what I'm making here on the screen, to be perfectly honest, and they'll still be perfect. Okay, rather than the big Italian meatballs, because we're making the Swedish ones here for a change. And then stick them in a pan with some oil. We want to cook these, and we want to cook these properly, So they'll take a few minutes, and because they've got a bit of pork in them, they will, be visibly caramelized up quite well. You could cook them for a minute or so on each side, then stick them in the oven if that is your personal preference, or you can cook them all the way through in your pan. No biggie, okay? But just make sure that they're cooked all the way through, okay? Nothing worse than, raw meatballs, okay? So once they're all done, you want to put them on a baking sheet. You can put them in a warm oven, just to keep them warm whilst we make the sauce. The sauce is only going to take, a couple of minutes, to be perfectly honest. Now, using the same pan that's got all those meaty juices and scraps, put in some butter, let that melt down, and then add the flour, okay? This is the base of the sauce, flour and butter. And you just want to cook the flour through. Obviously, as it dries with the butter, it's going to go, quite lumpy, and you're going to be like, oh no, I've got, cookie dough here. This isn't what I wanted to do. But trust me, once we start putting the liquid in here, which is the beef stock, it will obviously start to dissolve. There is a little bit of elbow grease here, because we're going to have to mix. We're going to have to whisk this, okay? And it does take a few minutes, but as you can see, the liquid starts to thicken up, and the lumps start to dissolve. You can add some more liquid in to loosen it up. Okay, there we go. And we start getting a really cracking little sauce there. And you can see my shirt is looking an absolute state from making this sauce. But anyway, we're going to throw in the flavour bombs here. We started off with some English mustard. And that's going to give it a little bit of heat there. Then we're going to go with the soy sauce. I've gone for the tamari version here. Quite a nice soy sauce there. So that goes in, and then we go for this double cream. So double cream, be as generous as you want. Obviously, the more cream that you put in, the flavor will obviously reduce. Okay, we just want it to get really creamy and luxurious. So use your noggin and don't put too much in. Okay, but anyway, we're now ready to plate up. This is looking good here. So obviously the classic combinations with the Swedish meatballs are the potato mash and some kind of jam, whatever you've got. It doesn't really make much difference, cranberry, whatever, okay, because just the combinations of the meatballs, the mash, the sauce, and a little bit of fruity will work brilliantly. So there we go. We're then pouring over that sauce. We're making a right mess as per usual. But what do you expect? Pour as much of this sauce as you can because you're going to want the sauce with every single bite. So I think it's now time for a bit of a taste test. So we'll hand over to the big guy right now. Right then, Swedish meatballs like they do in Ikea with the classic sauce done. And now it's ready for the taste test. And let's see what we've got. So we've served it up with some mashed potatoes like you would always do. We've drizzled the sauce all over it. And I can tell you that these meatballs, this recipe for the meatballs, they are pillowy soft. Okay. They are amazing meatballs. As I say, they are really, really soft. They're delicate, smothered in this sauce, and in the meatballs, the white pepper. You won't realise it until you try it, how good putting the white pepper is. It really gives a massive depth of flavour and gives it a little bit of a different taste that you wouldn't necessarily experience with meatballs. These are the Swedish meatballs that I make, and they are absolutely fantastic. So let me know what you think in the comments below and hit the subscribe button. We'll see you soon for another video real soon. Oh yeah.